Hello. Welcome back to the Forgotten Horror Podcast. I am really excited to be here. I was going to say some ridiculous name there, but it doesn't matter. We hope you have all had a great Christmas. We're bashing on to the new year. And as always, I've got my horror hombre with me, Mr. Eastwood for Life fan, Carlos. How are you doing, mate?
Mate, thanks for having me return to this horror movie memory feature.
Absolutely.
Always enjoy doing content with you, Davey. Do you want to tell the viewers what movie we are going to be talking about and reviewing today?
Well, because we're more structured now in the content that we're doing, we're less ADHD and more structured. We're going with a New Year classic, aren't we, Carlos? We put our heads together and thought, what is it that we can do for like at the season? Or we did the Christmas Evil, and I thought let's look for another unsung hero that's known but not really discussed. So we thought about the New Year's classic, Terror Train. There it is. That one right there. That cover's amazing, mate. I must admit.
That's the one I always prefer. More the original.
That one. That cover is amazing, mate. Yeah, I would. They don't know it yet, but that'll be the thumbnail that we do.
Okay.
Featuring some original, because you know something, I can't remember seeing it on VHS back in the day. Our independent shop never had Terror Train. I watched it years later. Might have been on TV, Carlos.
Oh, okay. So my memory was actually, again, I think 5 years ago, another 88 Films purchase. Obviously, big fan of Jamie Lee Curtis. This one I only watched, like I say, 5 or 6 years ago when this release came out. Obviously, she's my favourite Scream Queen. This is one I don't recall seeing in my local independent video store. So I kind of have this again with the movie Prom Night, which that again it's one that I never saw in the video store days. I much prefer Terror Train to Prom Night, but yeah. So this is like the 45th anniversary episode of Terror Train.
Yeah, and speaking of Prom Night, Jamie Lee Curtis had just finished filming Prom Night, and she jumped onto this one, 1980. So it also stars one of your guys.
Who's that?
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson,
He plays one of the main train conductor, doesn't he? Now he's a country and western legend, isn't he? He's been in a few John Wayne films. I remember my dad showing me. Oh, now hang on, my western knowledge isn't what it used to be. It never was there, to be honest. But the Yellow Ribbon.
He was in a handful of John Wayne movies.
Yes, and my dad showed me the Yellow Ribbon because my dad was a massive western fan, and I remember watching. He was in a few of those films. He was his stuntman as well.
Ben Johnson. He was a stuntman and also rodeo champion as well. So he always looked good on the horse.
Yeah, he didn't he have? I think my dad said he had horses in his private life or something. He had a ranch or something, and that's where he was honing his horse skills. So he looked great on camera, and that's what got him into the westerns because he could handle a horse really well.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, I was quite surprised. Again, rewatching this one, I totally forgot that he was in this one. I mean, Ben Johnson, who's kind of renowned for being in a lot of tough guy roles, plenty of westerns, in a handful of Steve McQueen movies, and The Wild Bunch, which is one that I always remember him. I mean, I shouldn't be too sort of surprised that he did, was featured in this horror movie, a slasher movie. I mean, he was also in the original Town the Town That Dreaded Sundown. He was like the main sheriff in that, wasn't he?
He was. Yeah.
So like I say, veteran actor, and I suppose he kind of added to the movie. In fact, even though
he gave it the star quality at the time.
yeah, I mean, the big draw is Jamie Lee Curtis. Obviously, 2 years after the Halloween movie, so they tried to cash in on that. I mean, obviously, she couldn't get away from a sort of horror movie.
Yeah, she was typecast, wasn't she?
Yeah,
by night, because she'd done The Fog as well. She did Halloween, The Fog, Prom Night, Terror Train. She went on to
Halloween 2.
Halloween 2, which did Road Games with Stacey Keach, an
Yeah.
Australian film. So
Yeah,
right at that point, I think Halloween 2 was her last horror.
that's right.
She bowed out. She wanted to respectfully finish with Deborah Hill and John Carpenter on Halloween 2, and then move on to Trading Places and stuff like that, didn't she?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I mean, those slasher movies, those horror movies that she was in, that everyone knows her. I mean, a lot of the horror fans know her for those movies. Obviously, she's a lot more better than that. I mean, obviously, movies like Trading Places, A Fish Called Wanda, True Lies. It shows
Blue Steel was a good one as well.
Blue Steel, yeah, where she plays. Yeah, that was a good one as well.
Yeah,
so she, I think in her career, she's got better and better with age. I mean, she did win an Academy Award, but I thought she was always a lot more than what she was just in horror movies. Obviously, she came back to the horror genre with the recent Halloween movies, but whether that was a cash grab, but yeah, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, a name in the horror genre, no doubt about that. But I mean, this is early Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, she's not the fully experienced actress in this movie, but I thought she was okay in this one, playing Elena.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this does seem a little dated because of the disco theme that was running throughout it. I mean, it got awards for the soundtrack. This thing did. And the fact that she was still an up and comer. She got a little notoriety in Halloween and The Fog. So casting her in this to do like a slasher type Halloween-esque sort of film was a no-brainer to get her, because she obviously would have accepted roles like this at that time because of that's the work she was getting. So it was a good move on the director's part and the writer's part. And it was mainly one of the first Canadian slasher films.
That's right.
Because they filmed it in Canada, didn't they? Jamie Lee Curtis was like obviously the up and coming star, but they had to cast primarily a lot of Canadian actors and actresses at the time.
That's right.
Give it a little bit of a different flavour, really. Which, I mean, there's certain these early '80s slashers cast that you see, and they're made in Canada, like My Bloody Valentine.
That's another one.
You see, the year or so later. But it just gives a little bit more flavour to what the slashers in the States are a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can see this in Terror Train. Now, also on the cast, we had the up-and-coming magician, because magic was very big in the late 70s, early 80s. We had bloody Paul Daniels, and they had David Copperfield, didn't they? So they put David Copperfield in this thing, and he's David Copperfield, and he's the guy that could fly around studios without any wires. We have Paul Daniels.
I mean, watching this movie again, I don't know. I mean, they do showcase him quite a bit in the movie. He's in it quite a bit, and at certain points, they kind of dangled the carrot that he's going to be a possible love interest for, the Elena, Jamie Lee Curtis character, or could he be like a red herring, as we have a killer on the loose on this kind of New Year's Eve kind of excursion train journey with all these medical students.
Let's shed some light on this story a little bit, Carlos, because it starts off in like a lot of these things at this time. For us, this is old hat, but for us back then in 1980, this was a new storyline. It was a bunch of medical students, wasn't they? They were medical graduates, medical students, and they coerced Jamie Lee Curtis's character into doing a prank with one of their pledges, like he was the nerdy virgin guy, and they wanted to play a bit of a prank on him. She reluctantly does do this. She's hiding behind like the bed curtains. The nerd comes in and he's like, Kenny Hampson, this is the guy, and he comes in and they're going to play a sorority type prank on him. He's promised, he thinks he's going to get it on with Jamie Lee Curtis, her character, and then it unfolds because it's quite a graphic prank, really, this one. And I must admit, when I've watched it a few times, but I watched it recently again, and I looked at it and I thought, ooh, now, because the prank they played, he thinks it's Jamie Lee Curtis sitting there in the bed and she's talking, she's telling him to get undressed, and they're all eavesdropping and whatever, laughing. And then when he gets into bed and he gets undressed, and he puts Jamie, the woman, down, it's like a cadaver that they've stolen from the morgue, isn't it? So it's a real dead body sliced up with the autopsy. And it is quite a visceral sight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a cruel prank.
Very.
I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Elena,
she's horrified by it herself, isn't she? She's actually horrified.
Yeah.
As soon as she sees it, and she's like, I mean, that was a wonderful acting ability with Jamie Lee Curtis, because she could see the sheer horror on her face, as if to say, what have I done? Why have I been involved in this? And he's getting wrapped up in the screaming and going. He has a breakdown, doesn't he?
Yeah, the Kenny character, quite shy, timid, geeky looking sort of character. I mean, he thinks, you know, he's kind of egged on by some of the guys there. Which obviously, when he gets undressed, it's quite uncomfortable when you see that scene.
Yeah.
And like, it's quite a sick prank, which kind of scars Kenny character. It really does. It kind of scars him for his youth.
He suffers PTSD, doesn't he? And he has a breakdown over it, because obviously, see, this is the thing. What doesn't get talked about is the effects that these pranks can have on people.
Yeah.
It was all done for a laugh back then. I mean, I'm sure you in your childhood, you've done pranks with people and friends, but not to the level of this sort of shit.
Yeah.
Because I thought, what? That is quite, that's quite extreme to go. I know there is nasty people in the world like that who would get off on doing it and think the enjoyment of doing that to someone, which is really cruel.
Yeah.
But this is the after effects that no one really talked about it, and people do suffer with trauma from the childhood. A lot of us do, you know what I mean? Because a lot of us can remember a certain event that has been horrific from our childhood, and we still have thoughts of it, and it's how that gets managed.
Yeah,
a lot of people in the 80s just get told to get on with it, don't they?
I thought they displayed it quite well, because there's quite a bit of a build-up to this. I mean, at that time, horror movies, they were kind of having these prank sort of scenarios, like the burning, with the caretaker.
I was going to mention that it became that sort of storyline for a few of them, didn't it? A prank goes wrong type of thing.
And then you kind of add that kind of revenge feel to a slasher movie. So, but with some of those horror movies, some of those scenarios get rushed. This one, there's quite a bit of a build up, and obviously you got 3 years later, which it moves into. So there's quite a bit of a build up on this. I mean, for me, the movie, I wouldn't say it's slow. I mean, everything does happen at a pace in the last third, but the first 2/3 of the movie, it's like a steady.
It's a build up, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a build up of the characters.
Yeah, many of the characters who kind of done wrong with this prank. I mean, a lot of them are childish idiots.
For this story, if you look at it objectively with like our pair of eyes, we feel sympathy for the guy.
Absolutely.
So that makes him someone like the underdogs can root for. They are actually cheering the killer on. But back then it was like, oh my goodness, he's the killer. But hang on a second, you've just tortured this poor kid. He's got every right to feel bitter. I mean, not saying chopping people up is the way to go, but you do think there's more to this, because you think, well, he's getting revenge on what they've done to him. You know, so
I think the way around this is the people that sort of do the prank. They're not that likable. Obviously, you got the
assholes.
You got the Eduardo. You got Doc.
He's
a right prat. You can't really, you don't really feel much sympathy for him. But where you kind of don't root for him fully is because Jamie Lee Curtis's character, she's quite sort of, she wasn't really part of the prank. I mean, when the prank got done, she knew it was wrong. So obviously, you know, you do support Jamie Lee Curtis's character. That she doesn't get hers in the movie. So
I felt a little bit sorry for her friends as well, because they weren't really in on it. They were just they were just there.
Yeah,
and they didn't have anything against the kid. They weren't really there. It was just they were just in the background, but they get lumbered with them. So they're like the innocent victims, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a few guys that do get sort of killed. Like you said, Elena's girlfriend. I mean, she gets it quite bad. I mean, obviously it's a New Year's Eve party, so a lot of the youngsters are, you know, they're quite drunk. They're acting silly, so they don't realise.
They're ticking all the boxes, aren't they? What you'd expect teenagers to be at a New Year's Eve costume party.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, without going to spoiler territory, there is a killer on the loose, and obviously, you know, it's a fancy dress sort of New Year's Eve party. So obviously, the killer at large, when he does a kill, he goes from one disguise to another. I enjoyed some of the actual disguises being used. Obviously, the Groucho Marx Brothers one, I think was obviously that's on the poster. That was a good look.
Yeah,
in disguise. But I mean,
there was a part of. I mean, I don't want to spoil it too much, but again, they picked the actor for Kenny Hampson because of a certain trait that he did in his personal life. And when you watch the film, I never noticed him.
Me too.
I never noticed him. It's only on Secret and when I've read a little bit about it, I've gone and I've watched it again, and then I've spotted him and gone, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
He would have fooled me when you see him. You know what I mean?
I totally
thought that was really, really clever.
Yeah, the reveal with the Kenny character. When you get to the end of the movie, it catches people off guard. I mean, I wouldn't say one of the dislikes or problems in this movie is like, to most horror fans, the reveal of the killer is revealed quite early on if you know horror movies, but there's something at the end of the movie that kind of catches you off guard, which was a real surprise.
Yes.
Like you mentioned, that caught me off guard. I mean, obviously, like I said, the serial killer, I knew who the serial killer was. They kind of revealed that too early. But in disguise, and the reveal at the end of the movie was well done. It was well done.
It is up there. It elevates it elevates it for me. It elevates this movie to a really, really nice surprise. It was because it was smack bang just in the boom of the slasher craze.
Yeah.
So we had Friday the 13th, was same year before. There was all these other slashers coming out at the same time. It was just madness, but the plots was all similar sort of revenge sort of plots.
Yeah.
But this had the twist, didn't it? This had that twist of who the killer was and the disguises that he used, the costumes and that. But the obvious one, I was like, wow, was that? No, it can't be. They're just saying that for the story. I went and rewound it and looked at it. I thought, oh my God, there he is. There he is. Fooled me. He had me fooled, Carlos.
Oh, he had me fooled.
Yeah, because you don't look for that there.
Yeah.
You look for him hiding in the shadows and, and bumping up. He does the classic slasher, isolates them and bumps them off. But he's in plain sight, isn't he, for a lot of it?
Yeah, I mean, to the viewer who might not have seen this movie, I mean, obviously, with some of the serial killers, you only see them every now and again in their usual look and usual mask. What you get in this movie, when the kill has happened and occurred, then the killer changes his disguise. You're in a crowded train of sort of youngsters, so he's always there. A lot of the time we don't see that person because we expect them to see just the one look. So it's quite well placed and well done in that. Something that I can't recall in a lot of horror movies, them trying this kind of idea. But yeah, like I say, it was well done. I mean, this horror movie. I mean, it's got a good cast and it's got a decent budget. I mean, it had like $2.5 million budget, and they were hoping this movie was going to be like Halloween on the Train. I think the actual director had a kind of vision that is kind of like the comedy movie Silver Streak with Gene Wilder, which was a comedy mystery that got thrown into it as well. So I like the idea and the concept. I mean, it loses it a little bit for me because I think there's a little bit too much of David Copperfield doing his magic, which kind of, it's like a showcase for David Copperfield to do his magic.
In retrospect, you can understand why they show him now. As we were talking, you know why he's being shown a lot more because again, but. And he was an up and coming magician, so it was a spotlight for him to show some of his magic that he does. But I think the more it goes on, you do scratch your head more and say, "Well, what? It's a train. It's a great setting. It's a train, but there's only so many places it can be."
Yeah.
But the fact that he uses these disguises and his main one. He's just genius. It's just genius. I was like, you just wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And this movie inspired a lot of other films to go in. There's been a few films released after this that have took that in a similar fashion, shall we say?
Yeah.
I can't name them because I'll give a ghost away because we want to keep this one a bit of a surprise because it is. People say, I've heard people, all the horror fans say it's boring, Carlos, and it plods along. Well, it's a slow build.
Yeah.
It's a slow build. It's not particularly gory. There is some good kills in it. There is some good moments. It's tension, though.
Yeah, I mean...
And as you build up towards the climax, you learn more through the story that way. You find out that... Jamie Lee Curtis' character visited him after the prank.
Yeah.
Because he was in a hospital.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit more as the tale goes on. Yeah. And she was concerned about him because she obviously felt horrible for the prank.
Yeah.
When the bodies start happening, she's putting two and two together. it could be Kenny Hampson.
Yeah.
You know, especially after a friend gets it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, even though this is like most people class it as a slasher mystery for me, because obviously it's on the train and it's kind of got that silver streak,
Who done it?
sort of
Yeah.
who done it feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, most gory horror fans would say, well, we could have had a few more gory kills, because a few of the kills you see after, you don't really see it during.
I think that's what they were going for. They
Yeah.
wanted to make it a bit more visual than Halloween, but they didn't want to show the garroting of the necks and the stabbings. You know what I mean? Because that would get it. That was Friday the 13th territory at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
So
they try to do something different with this one.
yeah. I mean, it unfairly gets tagged Halloween on a Train, which it's not. The killer's not Michael Myers for a start.
Oh no, absolutely not.
It's the prank thing that went wrong completely, and it's how he suffered. But it's the fact that he uses the disguises and that to outsmart the people, because he mingles with them permanently, and you don't realise it. And I found myself going back, watching it again to see if I can see him in the scenes. You know what I mean? And there's a few where I've just laughed and thought, yeah, that could be, because it leads up. So it's quite clever, Carlos, this one, how they've done it. And I mean, I give it its props for it being, yes, it's took the Halloween theme and the slasher theme at the time, which was new, but it's got a bit of originality to this one.
Yeah, I mean, full credit to the director, because it was his directorial debut. British, Canadian British director Roger Botswood.
Spotties would have done.
And obviously he went on to quite a few comedy movies. I think he done Stop or My Mama Was Shoot, Turner and Hooch.
Yeah.
One of the Bond movies with Pierce Brosnan, Tomorrow Never Dies. So he did do some pretty good movies, but to come out with this horror movie, okay, I mean, you could say, yeah, most people are going to say it's like Halloween on the Train. I mean, you could see he's influenced by the Halloween movie. Yeah. And I've heard that he actually spoke to John Carpenter and Deborah Hill with this idea, if they minded, which
he gave him his blessing,
gave him his blessing, all due respect. But then, you know, it's a serial killer, but done with a different sort of angle. I mean, you could have quite easily just done a serial killer with one look and killing people on the train, but it's more than that. It's quite a clever, thought out little horror movie that kind of gets a little bit underrated. It's underrated for me.
There's one kill in it, Carlos, that makes you think more than others. It's when the arsehole gets killed and he's locked himself in his cabin. He's getting paranoid that the killer could be in there. And there's a load of jump scares and tension and tension. And you think that, and then you just see the killer with the hand. And you look at the hand and you go, what? Who is? No, that can't be. That's not Kenny Hampson. That's all I'm going to say. And the next thing, he gets garroted. But I'm thinking to myself, no, maybe this isn't Kenny Hampson.
I mean, the movie does throw out a few sort of red herrings out there. I mean, at one point, Ben Johnson's character, the conductor, they put it in such a way, because he sees a couple of dead bodies. I think the first dead body that he sees is it an illusion, because then he goes back to the bathroom, and where he thought he saw somebody in disguise killed is now the blood's been all cleaned up. So it gets him thinking. So they throw a few angles in this movie rather than a straight up slasher movie, which was nice to see.
Yeah, and it's them little things that make the film far better, more enjoyable on a second and third watch, because it's almost like it was like made to do that, and it was, this film particularly was made so you watch it 2 and 3 times to watch in the background, to watch the characters, to watch where he is, and to watch what. Genius idea, Carlos. Really, very, very ahead of its time.
For me,
rather than it being a Friday the 13th, that Jason jumped out the water at the end of the original, and then it was Jason in the second one, and then he's not dead. This one, it makes you watch because the killer's ever present, and it's making you think: is it him? Is it somebody else? Is it him? Let me watch again.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I mean, certain movies you shouldn't watch too often, because I think a movie like The Sixth Sense, when you kind of watch it too often, you know what's going to happen. Where if you don't watch it too often, then it's kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot this and forgot that sort of thing. And like, I think movies like The Sixth Sense and movies like this, if you could limit times you watch it. Again, I mean, I hadn't seen this for quite a while, so the reveal at the end, I totally forgot about.
Yeah.
It was another shock, as it was the first time. So maybe a movie like it shouldn't be watched too often. Or maybe you're completely opposite. You want to see it. You want to pick up on this scene and this scene, where there's a lot of scenes where you sort of think, well, there's nothing going on here. What's happening? It's boring, but it's not, because the killer is in that scene.
Something there, isn't there?
The killer's hiding behind that person or in that disguise. So,
but what you've touched on there, Carlos, when you say it, like it's boring, but the boring part is when you get more of the story. Yeah, there's more of the story being relieved through the boring parts.
Yeah, that's it.
So that to me is like, it's well crafted. It's a well crafted film, and I think it gets the unfair tag of Halloween on a Train, because anybody can just go, oh, it's a slasher, it's an early 80s slasher. It's talking in 2025, the end of 2025, we can look back and say, oh yeah, it's the tried and tested formula. But then it was something original, something new.
Yeah, I mean, I think they tried to market it like that, because, like I say, they did spend a pretty penny. If you're going to get like Ben Johnson and Jamie Lee Curtis and David Copperfield in a movie, I mean, 3 sort of celebrities in entertainment.
Yeah, you had a good solid cast there.
So they spent quite a bit. I mean, obviously the movie kind of underperformed in what they were trying to sort. I mean, they were hoping for another Halloween, obviously.
Yeah, that's what they were aiming for, weren't they?
Yeah, but I mean, I think at that time there were other horror movies that came out in 1980. So
1980 was just it was the floodgates was opening.
Yeah.
So you were getting, I don't know how many VHSs I've got here, 1980, 1981, 1979. It was just bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, Prom Night was 1980. It was competing with Prom Night.
The Fog.
There's another one of that era, you know?
Yeah. So, yeah, you can see why it probably, maybe, I don't know, maybe because it's a Canadian movie. Maybe, again, if it was an American movie, they could have pushed for it a lot more. I don't know. But it's kind of like an underrated sort of little horror gem. I mean, I wouldn't have it in my top 10 80s movies, and probably not even in my top 20. But it's a worthy one. I mean, it's a movie that's in my collection for the fact that I love watching Jamie Lee Curtis on screen, whether it's horror movies or other movies.
Yeah, she's like movie gold, isn't she?
Yeah.
No matter what role she's in, she's likable. The camera likes her. And when I heard her in this, you get the Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode scream right the way through.
Screams.
That scream is just iconic.
Yeah.
And you close your eyes, you're right back there to
so.
Halloween. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
she's on Terror Train. She's on Prom Night. You know what I mean? It's like that sort of level. You think, that's Jamie Lee Curtis. So
I mean, like I say, it's not her greatest movie from her career, but it adds to a Scream Queen persona.
oh yeah,
This movie, these types of movies are Prom Night and Terror Train for sure.
yeah, absolutely. So your final thoughts? I mean, there's a nice interaction at the end between them, isn't there? Between the killer and Jamie Lee Curtis, and she tries to apologize and tries to explain.
Yeah, that was a good scene. It was a good scene. It was awkward, but it was a good scene.
Yeah, and then it happens. So yeah. So your final thoughts on it, Carlos? What would you think?
I mean, it's not a perfect 80s slasher movie, but like I say, I think if anyone's a fan of Jamie Lee Curtis and 80s slasher movies, because it's when you see it, it's screaming 80s, sort of an 80s nostalgic feel to it of how these movies were. I mean, the clothes, some of the acting's not that great, but it doesn't really matter. It's like I say, it's a good kind of underrated, sort of unknown gem.
Absolutely.
In the 80s slasher.
And again, like there's a lot of great practical effects, and the train was real. The train was real. They had a set designer for the train. It wasn't just put on a soundstage somewhere. It was a train, and they shot on the train, and that train was still in use. Up until a couple of years ago in Canada, maybe, and they returned it back to its original format, the paint scheme. But how amazing is that? I mean,
like I say, the overall concept of the movie, I enjoy. I mean, as this movie got flaws, of course it has. You could pick them out quite easily, but you enjoy it for what it is. It's just a
good time.
Yeah,
that's what I always say to anybody who wants to watch a horror film, young or old. Horror film is just a good time. It's meant to get an emotion out of you, whether it's scary, creepy, gory, suspense, mystery. It's supposed to be a good time. And that's what it does. It takes you into that world just for that 90 minutes, 100 minutes of your life. And this certainly ticks all the boxes. I enjoyed it. I mean, yes, it's not the most fast-paced or action, but I enjoyed the plot. And I thought the killer in it, I thought, you've got to watch. If you've not watched Terror Train,
give it a go.
Me and Carlos are backing this one as a nice surprise for you all, because it is, and again, it's a New Year's Eve slasher film.
Yeah, so watch it on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, why not? Which is tomorrow, next couple of days. We'll get this out. We'll get this out just before New Year's Eve, probably. Carlos, is that it? I think we've covered.
Yeah, and it's released 45 years ago. I think it was released 1980 in October, the movie.
Absolutely.
So another anniversary episode on horror movie memories.
Yes. Are you going to tease the viewers what we're going to do next, Carlos? I think
Yeah, we do have another horror movie memory episode coming up.
An anniversary edition, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, we'll do a 50th anniversary of a Stephen King movie with a great cast. Guys, if you're big horror fans, I'm sure you know the movie. If you think you know what the movie is, jot it down in the comments section.
Yeah. And on that bombshell, Carlos, I think we're going to go get warm, because I'm bloody cold.
Yeah.
I've got sitting there in my t-shirt going, oh, yeah. I'm thinking there's a nasty chill coming in. So I'm going to get warmed up a bit. I'm going to get warmed up. I'm going to go for a walk in a bit with Jilly. What are you up to, sir?
Like I say, it's probably just watching more movies during this festive period. Try to get a few more movies in.
Absolutely.
Try to get some content on the channel, because I haven't done content on the channel for quite a while. So yeah, be doing these other features with yourself and other people.
And I'm very appreciative to you, sir. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because we have a blast. Anyway, people, that's going to do it for me and Carlos this episode. Check out Carlos's channel. He does his movie posts where you have to vote on which movie you like, which is always great to just put your view in there. Take a second, check that out. Yeah, me and Carlos will see you another time next time for our anniversary video of another horror movie memory classic.
Absolutely.
Cheers, everybody.
Guys, stay tuned.